Well, first, let me thank you for your service. I want to follow up first on Senator Rish's point about our capacity here. The Khartoum mission has always been characterized as historically difficult to staff. So one of the challenges that we've had is, did we have adequate personnel in our missions in order to deal with these challenges? That's an issue I want to talk about generally, not necessarily today, but we really do need to figure out how we can staff these challenging missions with adequate resources to have the attention we need to avoid conflicts. I want to talk about the Americans that still are in Sudan. We understand that we were able to get those who serve in our mission safely out of Sudan. There are many other Americans that are in Sudan today. Do we have an estimate of the numbers, particularly those that are interested in leaving Sudan? The circumstances there are certainly anything but certain as to what's going to happen as far as safety. What is our game plan on helping Americans?
Senator Cardin, when the conflict began on April 15th, we had connectivity with about 5,000 Americans who had registered with us in one form or another. That enabled us to push out messages, I think 12 times so far, about various options for leaving the country, traveling on flights with allies, or this overland convoy. That's what resulted in our being able to get about 1,300 of them out. We are in contact with a number of them who are continuing to weigh their options. But as we have Americans who are more ready now than they were at the time that we were doing these overland convoys to get out, we're giving them advice on various ways that they can do that, routes that are considered more safe. Were we to have a critical mass, a larger number that wanted to come out, we would look again at other options. But at the moment, our sense is that the majority of the Americans who have stayed in Sudan have stayed for either reasons of family or work or history, but we are in contact with a large number of them still.
Do we have an estimate as to how many Americans are interested in leaving Sudan that are there today?
When I asked this question of our consular folk yesterday, they felt quite comfortable that as we are getting, frankly, in small handfuls, people making a decision now to come out who didn't want to come out when a week or two ago, we are able to accommodate them on transit. But that situation changes every day as people evaluate their personal situation, and we'll stay in touch.
And the notifications that you're talking about, could you just explain what notifications were given to Americans, I guess, after April 15th?
So as I said, first of all, just to lay the predicate that the travel guidance to Americans has been since October 21 that they should not travel to Sudan. If they do travel to Sudan, that they should register with the embassy. We had about 5,000 Americans registered with the embassy, as I said. That enabled us in a much more modern and efficient way to send over 12 messages to them in the last 2 weeks, offering them various options. We use text, we use WhatsApp, we use email, we use the contact information that they give us. The registration form that we are now using asks for multiple ways to contact, including family at home, which has allowed us to be more complete this time than we might have been in the past.
It sounds like you have some confidence that we can get information to those who want to leave Sudan as to the opportunities that are available on different options that you're in contact. Is that fair to say?
That's absolutely right. And frankly, we invite any of you who are hearing from constituents, et cetera, about people who we haven't captured by our system, please come send them our way.
And how confident, let me ask this, I might to Mr. Charles, how confident are you about us being able to get humanitarian assistance into Sudan? You mentioned about the midwives, but do we have a network that's reliable to try to get help in?
Currently, 19 of our 33 pre-existing humanitarian partners are operational in some capacity, although at a much more limited capacity than they were. We have a lot of supplies that are flowing into Port Sudan right now, including more than 30,000 metric tons of U.S.-sourced in-kind commodities that are in the anchored in the Suez right now. And one of the key elements of those talks in Jeddah right now is the kind of security arrangements that would allow those supplies to come in and come in at scale and be distributed in a way that is more reliable. But even right now, we've worked with our partners, authorized our partners to use pre-existing stocks in country to respond where they can.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.